Please pardon my appearance. Um, you have to make do with what the situation is. So, yesterday has been exceptionally rough. Um, I have no idea how I even got through the day, to be honest with you. I have a fairly high tolerance of pain. Obviously, after the car accident, I lived in pain for like 2.5, 3 years while on my healing journey. And but this is years ago, right? This is 2016 through 2019, and what I have found is that yesterday's episode was probably, if I had to guess, a one step down. Okay, maybe not that dramatic. Maybe 2 to 3 steps down from the very episode which has inspired this in the first place. So, in 2023, and I've explained this in a prior video, so ever since 2023, there's just been something weird about this whole thing. So, yesterday has been probably like 3 notches. Like if in 2023 that was like 10 out of 10 pain, this is like legit 7 out of 10. So the enough was right. Can't even talk. The night was rough. Had to navigate that. Good luck trying to sleep when everything hurts, right? So this morning, my level of pain is probably at like 1 out of 10. And I'm taking all the necessary precautions to basically baby it and nurse it so that it actually gets over that hump of the healing process. Which is why you see me wear this and you see me wear that. That aside, I need to be in tip-top shape because we're about to start having fun and hikes and all this other stuff. So, I have an axe to grind. Nothing to do with any of this. DJI. They have let me down. So, this is the weird thing about DJI products, certainly over the last 5+ years. They have created them in such a manner that it makes it largely impractical to be, quote unquote, on the go. The batteries take forever to charge unless you have a high speed, high wattage charger, which, as you might imagine, right here in a motorhome, you don't get that, right? So, for context, for example, I've been trying to charge every single battery for every single drone, which I'm down to about 4 batteries left. Consider that a miracle. Because all of them, miraculously, over the last 2 weeks, have just decided to drain themselves. Color me amused. But more importantly, it takes so freaking long to charge those batteries. I don't understand what. Like right now, I'm, because I've charged all of the drone batteries using the inverter. Right, so it's cranking out all sorts of juice, right, and just takes forever. Versus my last trip in 2021, I was using a 2014 drone, DJI Mavic Air, the OG one, I was using DJI FPV drone, and I was basically charging both of them from my truck with a 12-volt charger. Well, with the inverter thing, right? All of the newer drones, like I have DJI Mavic Air 2S, I have DJI Neos, I have DJI Mini 3 Pro, etc., etc., etc. Like, I'm going now on almost 2 days of trying to charge all of my drones. I mean, this is just ridiculous. It makes it unfeasible to travel. So, I'll have to figure out what to do about that. And the reason why I brought that up is because, like, in the future, let's just paint this scenario. I fly to Grand Junction, right? By the way, I've already talked to the people at Grand Junction about, storing the motorhome and the Jeep and all this other stuff. So that's all more or less figured out. May even get lucky and not have to disconnect my Jeep from my RV, saving me time and all that stuff. But let's say I fly to Grand Junction. Okay? I fly there on a Saturday, let's say. And so by that point, it's already probably second half of a Saturday, if I had to guess. And I have to drive somewhere. Okay? And I have to start my trip. And I naturally have to be back in Grand Junction the next Saturday. Or early Sunday for that matters, to be able to fly back, right? Which functionally means that I have 7 days, maybe 8, to have my entire vacation. And if it takes me 2 hours, because by that point all of the batteries would have self-depleted. So how do you rapidly charge all of your batteries so that you could start using them immediately? Yeah. And considering the number of batteries that I do have, it would be largely impractical of taking them as carry-on. Because I have like a bazillion batteries for a reason. So that you could continue flying, through the day. Like, if you only have a couple of batteries, that's just not gonna fly. So once I start flying, like, to get you an idea, when I was here in Moab in 2021, I managed to clock close to 2,000 flights. Like, I was literally flying non-stop. Just and by that point, my cinematic drone died, so I was just basically flying DJI FPV. And I was flying and charging it off my pickup truck. And at the end of the day, I would come back and charge the batteries, for tomorrow so that I could start flying them. And while I was flying them, they were charging in the truck, and that whole thing just kind of keeps going forward, right? Well, I need to figure out what to do, because this is largely impractical. Like, for example, right now this is a high wattage 65 watt charger connected to the, what are they called, PID or PIP, USB-C type rapid charger connected to 5,000 watt inverter, 1,500 watts of solar, 400 amp hours of Battleborn, and just these 4 batteries right there. Like an hour just for the 4 batteries. Like, what? I have like 50 batteries, for crying out loud. So what I've been thinking is, since I brought, and this is actually the reason, well, not this, but I brought 4 Jackery 1000 power stations. So I may need to engineer some sort of practical solution by which I, in flying out, I get to connect all of my drones to the inverter plus 4 of the power stations, so that when I get to where I need to get, I have my stuff charged. And then maybe between every single day, just keep them on the stove and just keep charging them. I don't know. Or maybe I need to be a little bit more picky and choosy with where I fly. So maybe that's another thing, like strategically think about, okay, well, I'm gonna use this type of drone for that type of drone for this, which I've already decided on this trip. Like I have drive with a vehicle drones that I fly, and then I have hiking drones. So, lots to think about. There's other things that kind of sprung up on me last minute. If you're wondering what I'm looking at, I'm at the Klondike Bluffs over by the airport, and my mom asked me the other day, like, how many campers do you think there are here? And I'm like, well, I only see 20, but maybe down the road there's. So if you follow that road, like today, just by, I'm on my lunch break right now, by working, I've counted at least 200 that went out. And they keep going out. And other ones, come in, new ones. That is just crazy. So, mind you that, the road here is rough. I personally wouldn't want to drive all the way there. In fact, I'm actually considering something ridiculous. So I'm out here boondocking, obviously, for a reason, because I'm a cheap bastard. But I also have to be practical about future. As I was driving on 128 in the Potash Road yesterday, there's campsites littered everywhere. Now, I have no idea what their cost, per day. What, I know that there's fancy campgrounds, right, with like hookups and everything that really cost a ton. So they're like $150 a day. But on the other hand, theoretically speaking, if I could pay like $15 a day for, say, 7 days or something like that, know what I mean? I don't know, something to think about, especially like if it's close to town. But I also have to be strategic, because I've been to so many places in Moab now that, like, I'd be seeking out the things that I haven't been to yet. Just from a, logistical standpoint. Like there's a bunch of hikes that I'd like to do in Canyonlands over there. And for that, I'd have to probably be at up the hill over there. So, also, here's what I think. For a Florida man who loves the heat, the hot, right? I paid my dues in Moab last time around. I'm standing out here, and it's not even like quote unquote hot yet. right? Every day, maybe the maximum temperature is like 85. It starts off with like 41. I think I may have made a mistake in how I parked. Now, given that I'm only here for a couple more days, I'm not even gonna bother anymore. But maybe I need to start thinking about how I park, because what's happening is this entire side of the motorhome heats up, and the sun goes like this, and then this entire side of the motorhome heats up. Versus if you just have your nose to the sun, or your tail to the sun, as it's going like this, both of your other sides are not actually in the sun. Only your roof is. Which kind of explains why every person out there have parked in a different way. So, now, I've parked like this entirely because it's just the way that I pulled in, right? Because like I had to do an arc, and that's why I'm here. So lessons learned. Hopefully very soon I'm gonna have to ditch all of this and actually be back to normal, because I don't want to spend the rest of my visit here like this, right? Because I'm going from Moab to Needles to Escalante to Goblin Valley to back to Moab. There's things I want to do, and I don't want to be like this. So, alright, I'll catch you guys later.